Welcome to the most abstract short circuit yet. We're unboxing nothing. Last time I unboxed a webcam on this frickin' channel, it was a big old chonky boy, I'll tell you that much. But guess what? The same company, Nexigo, is back with an even bigger chonky boy. Actually, I don't know if the actual webcam itself is as chonky, but the sensor is the biggest sensor ever on a webcam. I'm talking about, hit me. Thank you, the Whoa! The Nexigo Iris 4K webcam. And guess why it's in this bubble wrap? Because it's so early, it's not even out yet at the time of shooting this video. Is it gonna be out when the video comes out?
Yes.
Yes, but they don't even have packaging when they sent it to us because it was so early. I feel special, so I'm gonna take a look. Wow, that's kind of creepy on the front, but they were right, this is big. Now, one thing I'll say right away is that on the last Nexigo webcam video I did, people pointed out multiple times in the comments, thank you, that it was a conference call webcam. It's for like a work situation and not so much for personal, although you could use it for personal. And I was treating it a bit more as if like it was like a personal item. So this time around, I know what this is for. And it has particular features that will make it even more interesting for that type of work scenario. But, as they say in their materials, you can use it for personal stuff as well. What did I just take off? The privacy screen. That gives me like Illuminati vibes. Eye of Sauron. It's not as refined a solution as I saw on the other one. That was like a bit more satisfying where it had a little flippy thing that you could flip up. But that one was also more of like we didn't have these curved edges on the sides here. You seeing this? That's an interesting side profile. As I said, this has the biggest sensor ever in a webcam, according to Nexigo. I don't know, maybe there's another model out there somewhere that we're not aware of, but at the time of filming, Nexigo claims that this is the only webcam out there with this large 1 to 1/8 inch Sony STARVIS Sensor. So that's exciting. It can do uncompressed 4K video, apparently, if you use the HDMI port on the back, but we'll get there. Okay, so on the front, you got the lens, cool. I'm guessing these are mics, and there's another little hole there. What's the extra little hole, Jake? But Nexigo says these are dual omnidirectional mics, so you'll be able to tell if there's a monster behind you. On this side we got, it looks like vents, but I don't think they are. I think that's just design. Oh no, there are some little holes in there. So they are vents. On the front, we got just real smooth for your pleasure. On the bottom, we have a mounting point for the attachment that I'm going to put on there, some screws, and on the back we have this HDMI port that I said could do uncompressed 4K video, so that's gonna be interesting, as well as a USB 3.0 port if you're plugging that into just an older machine in your company's conference room that doesn't have HDMI. That doesn't make any sense. If I had the box with me, here's what else would be in the box. Another thick boy, remember? The last cord was thick as well. USB type A to type whatever this is, I forget what it is, it's a B or something. And how long is it?
3 meters.
Oh, you know it's 3 meters. I mean, I'm gonna have to.
Banana.
Oh, you want me to banana it? And so there you go, there's the scale. That's how big it is compared to a ShortCircuit banana. So this is a 3 meter USB cord. I keep saying USB-C, USB 3.0. Yep, seems right. Also in the box would be a remote. This one, if I'm not mistaken, looks different than the one that we unboxed with the last model, but it looks like there are some similar features and some new ones. We'll take a look at that. Okay, well, I love hanging out with webcams that aren't plugged into anything as much as the next guy, but I think we should plug it in and see how she goes, okay? Am I right? Vote? It's unanimous. Okay, so here we are. We plugged in the webcam into our recording laptop using USB 3.0. We're gonna start out with that to see how the quality is compared to the uncompressed 4K video that we can get off of the HDMI port. And right off the bat, this looks pretty good. I'm complaining a little bit about the highlights on my forehead. That could just be my forehead. That's just how it looks sometimes. Don't judge me. But if you weren't happy with it, we're gonna use the remote here to change the settings. So the cool thing about these conference webcams is that all the settings are built in and retained in the webcam. You can set it up in one room and then move it to a different room and plug it into a different computer and not worry about drivers and software and all that stuff. It should just work. That seems a bit better to me. I'm liking that black level. Flicker, we're compensating for 60 hertz, 50 hertz. Okay, you can do 60 or 50 or off. Wahoo-wee! It's now later in time, and guess what? Nexigo sent us an Iris model from the production line instead of the pre-production line, so now picture-in-picture is working, so we get to check it out. I feel so privileged. Before, this button was doing something else on the pre-production model, but now this button does auto framing, and this one does picture-in-picture. And I've activated it, look. There I am, it's like a little mini me. Good job, buddy. So the cool thing about this feature is that if you're presenting in your corporate boardroom settings, we all know the place. If this is my board, like say I have a really important presentation, like it's a Tech Longer video, remember those? Pretend I have a presentation here. I can zoom in with the zoom, and now everyone in the Zoom call is looking at my wondrous handwriting while I can be over here. I'm like, see you guys, I'm gonna go over this way. It's cutting okay, one minor complaint, it wants to cut off the top of my head, or maybe that's just because there's a threshold for it to move and then I can, no, see, I'm trying to frame it properly and it's like, no, come, get away from me. Ah. Yeah, and when you're done with that, then you just press the button again. Boom, auto framing. Turn it off, and we're back to normal. That's pretty cool. I would definitely use that to achieve synergy in between the Q2 and Q3 numbers. Now, back to a previous Riley that we've seen before. Dynamic range, now this is interesting. This should be like the amount of colors, the color range that you can have. And when you go to 0, you can definitely see that things are a bit more muted. And as we go up, we're getting more detail, but I definitely don't like how it looks. Oh, I remember now. So last time I did this, when I move my hands around, you can see the black shadow behind my hand, because I think it doesn't quite, it's trying to show too many colors at the high dynamic range level. So let's go down to, let's keep that at like 5. Still got a little bit of that shadow situation down on my hand here, but I like that. So there's your dynamic range option, and this camera is capable of HDR, and it's also capable of, what's 3D noise reduction? Okay, so noise reduction 2D, noise reduction 3D. This is gonna be another situation where people in the comments maybe know exactly what the difference is between 3D and 2D noise reduction. Here's a tech tip for you. 2D noise reduction apparently looks at basically just the single frame and tries to, it's like a photo situation where it's like reducing noise in the single frame. In 3D noise reduction, it's using subsequent frames as well to, it's using more data basically to reduce the noise. So let's go back and play around with that. So the downside to 3D noise reduction is that at high levels, apparently you're gonna get some blurriness. So that's, actually I'm seeing that, yeah. As I put that up, I'm looking a little bit smoother, a little bit too smooth for my tastes. I like to be a little more jaggy, thank you. The other big feature that I wanted to talk about was, well, first of all, the different scenes. So this button right in the middle of the remote, that switches between different modes, such as low light mode, which in their demo pictures they were using for like more of a dramatic situation. If we like had one key light and then shadow, like if Brandon was like lighting for a movie, that's what this is for. It's dramatic, it's cool. You're like, I know about film. Conference mode, it's all business, okay? You're wearing your business socks, no jokes allowed. Streaming mode, okay, I guess it cuts in. I'm not sure exactly what this is doing to the different presets. I'm assuming that it's doing something other than just kind of reframing things. Okay, we wanna check out the low light performance, but I think that might work the best with uncompressed 4K video. What do you think? So we're gonna switch to the HDMI connection and see how that goes. Ready, go! Okay, so here we are, we plugged in the HDMI cord. You tell me if this looks any different, because it looks about the same to me. And moreover, I don't really have a way, we checked in the menu, we don't really have a way of determining whether we're actually recording at like an uncompressed thing anymore, but we're using the HDMI and maybe it's a fail-safe. Looks pretty good to me. Oh, and the one thing we wanted to check out here is the low light performance because there is a low light compensation mode. So, Brandon, hit the lights! I mean, it looks pretty good. Exposure, okay, backlight. Oh, I could have turned the backlight compensation on. Oh, dynamic range, turn it up. Ah, and this is where the dynamic range comes in handy because now we're getting quite a bit of brightness even in the dark situation. I mean, like you can tell that this is not like my natural skin situation, but when I turn it all the way down, you know, you can see that if you have it at a sort of a high level, that's not too bad for a backlight compensation. Gain limit. Oh, and here's where the gain limit comes in. When it was bright in here, I was turning the gain limit up and nothing really was happening, and it's frozen. But in a low light situation, if you up the gain limit, then it's giving the system more resources that it can use to up the brightness, which is great. Okay, so like this is now, we're at a low light situation. The lights are very dim, and you know, this doesn't look amazing as it would if all the lights were on, obviously, but I think this is more than passable if I wanted to do like a conference call for business. Auto track on. Oh yeah, here's what we're talking about. Okay, so like the N970p could also do this, but I think this one apparently has an AI chip embedded. I think I'm seeing a little bit more responsiveness as I move around. At our company, we care a lot about corporate synergy and quarterly earnings, which is why I've brought you over to our company shelf and our prize banana tree. Okay, honestly, I'm pretty impressed with even just the changes that this makes over the last webcam from Nexigo that we covered on ShortCircuit. The colors, I'm a little bit more happy with. The auto framing, the AI is able to track me very well. We've got some low light situation. We got some onboard AI processing. The menu makes a little bit more sense to me this time around, but maybe that's just because I'm familiar with it. But for $250, there's a lot of features packed in here that, you know, you have to determine for yourself whether that's worth it for you, but not a bad price for something very advanced. Nexigo! Thanks for sponsoring this video, and that's it. And thank you for watching this video. Subscribe to ShortCircuit if you want to see more unboxings and just people playing around and having some fun together. If you want to watch another webcam video, watch the other one I did. What?